Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we have some pretty breaking news regarding the very already crowded California's governor race for 2026, and to add up to the crowd, you have Democratic megadonor Tom Steyer, who is also a 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, has jumped into the race. So, Tom Steyer, he's more progressive than the other big billionaire who ran in 2020, Michael Bloomberg. You see here that Steyer never actually got delegates. Actually, no, I think he did get delegates. He never won a contest. He put a lot of money into South Carolina, and he did actually come third in South Carolina with all that money. But in the end, he did not get much delegates. He only got, he did not get a single delegate because South Carolina, even though he got 11% in South Carolina, he was not able to get any delegates there. So he ended up only getting 0.72% of the vote in total. So Steyer dropped out after before Super Tuesday and endorsed Joe Biden. So Steyer, he is now looking at a California governor's run. Steyer is now, I believe, in his upper 70s, I think. He is now, actually, no, he's only 68, so he's not that old. And honestly, he has a lot of progressive issues on climate change, and he's kind of your typical, I would say a tad bit more left to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Much more left than Michael Bloomberg, the other big billionaire from 2020. So, I just want to take a look at this race for a sec. You see here, now you have Tom Steyer, but you already had some big candidates. You had mainly Katie Porter, the former representative who ran for Senate and got third place. So she did not make the general election. You also have Xavier Becerra, the former Attorney General of the State of California, a former U.S. House of Representative, and former Secretary of Health and Human Services under the Biden administration. You also have some statewide officials, Ian Calderon, local officials like Antonio Villaraigosa, the former mayor of the city of Los Angeles, Betty Yee, the vice chair of the California Democratic Party and state controller for 8 years, and you're preparing for a candidacy from Eric Swalwell, so adding another representative into the race from California's 14th. Honestly, one of the more known Democratic representatives. He's also another one of those media type who bashes Trump a lot on Twitter. So he's preparing to jump into the race, which I really think will destroy Katie Porter's chances. You also have Rick Caruso. He ran for mayor of Los Angeles in 2022. He lost by 10 points against Karen Bass. I think he was a more moderate choice in that election. So it's going to be very, very interesting now with Steyer into the race. Because before, if you wanted a moderate Democrat, you really didn't have one. Maybe you could have went with, because he's like really the only outsider in this race that hasn't held political office that has a chance. Katie Porter, he's already has name recognition. Although he did drop out before Super Tuesday in 2020, which did have the California contest, I'm not sure if he was still on the ballot there. But if we see here, then we go to the state of California. Schedule and results. We go to California. In California, I do not believe Steyer was on the ballot. Yeah, he was not. Actually, 3.7%. It is possible that Steyer was on the ballot, but got very little votes. But Steyer, he did put some money into California, so he has name recognition there. He's definitely probably the most interesting candidate that's going to jump into this race. And then you also have Rick Caruso, who could jump into the race. He's another, I think he's like a multimillionaire or something. So maybe the Bloomberg and, Steyer, obviously, of this race. So it just continues to crowd this even more. So this just continuously builds on this possibility that two Republicans could make it to the general election. Because remember, California and a lot of these other Western Pacific Ocean states, that they could they use open primary systems, which means all Democrats, all Republicans, all independents are put into this jumbo primary, and the top two candidates, no matter their party affiliation, will move on. So Republicans, their top two, they don't have many compared to the Democrats. They have Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff, and Steve Hilton. He's this political guy, a political advisor. He's British. So these are the top two Republicans, and we've seen that it's possible that these two Republicans, Bianco and Hilton, could possibly make it to the general election. These two Republicans, and because you don't have any big Republicans running, so Republicans aren't splitting the vote that much, because it's mainly just between Bianco and Hilton. I mean, you have some candidates there and there that could take 1 or 2%, but you have Democrats here taking 4% Becerra, or 15% Porter, 7% Steyer, something like that. Then it just divides the California Democratic vote by so much. It's possible that Republicans can win here. And I just want to take a look at the polling for the primary. You see here, the aggregate on Real Clear Politics show right now that Katie Porter is ahead, and Bianco makes it to the general election with her 15.7, 13%, and then the other Republican, Steve Hilton, is behind Porter. So you need Bianco and Hilton to get ahead of Porter. You do have a big chunk of undecideds, but I want to take a look at some of these other polls. For example, Tavern Research. Bianco's actually ahead of Porter here. So here you could have Hilton, he just needs 3 or 4%, and he gets ahead of Porter. And then you have Bianco and Hilton making it. And now with Steyer into this race, because this was actually somewhat of a surprise, now with Steyer in the race, you could have the Democratic vote split even more. Even just if he takes 7, 8, even 6% of the vote, that could cause a massive catastrophe for Democrats in the state of California. So, yeah, very interesting news. And this is actually not that expected, but it is going to be interesting seeing another Democrat, pretty known one as well this time, jump into this race for California governor with Gavin Newsom retiring. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and like, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.